This man is a mass murderer at a level of evil we have not seen since Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. He's surrounded by fascists. This man has led Israel to the abyss. The Zionists are very good at producing anti-Semitism. There is no greater manipulator of American politics than Israel. Zionism is the negation of Judaism. Israel no longer has any credibility. At the very moment that more pain and suffering is being inflicted on Gaza, our Congress, invited this mass murderer, liar, Orwellian master of deceit, to come and address them. If you ever doubted that the United States was complicitous in the horrors being inflicted on Palestinians and the racism and apartheid being practiced by Israel, any doubt has now been eliminated. Zionism is the negation of Judaism. Many Jews consider it idolatry, that is, the worship of a state rather than the worship of God. And what we see now in Israel doing is absolutely disgusting to any decent human being. And most of the world, with the exception of a few countries like our own, have broken with Israel, see Israel as an outlaw. And in fact, the International Court of Justice, the World Court, just ruled that it was an outlaw in every sense. The world has woken up. Israel has not. Israel is stumbling into the abyss. Israel no longer has any credibility. And the applause that you heard is why the United States has very little, if any, credibility around the world. How can you applaud blatant lies like that with a straight face? Nothing is getting into Gaza. The hospitals have been destroyed. There's no medical care. Israel has now discovered that there's polio in Gaza, but it's blocking the vaccine. This man is a mass murderer at a level of evil we have not seen since Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. So this is utterly racist, utterly despicable, and it has no credibility outside the true believers in Zionism. This is just a kind of arrogance, hubris, racist supremacy, which is just unacceptable in the 21st century. You don't have a claim to murder people, to deny them their rights. So this is, again, our identification with this is disastrous for us internationally and morally. And I think there's a terrible irony in an Israeli murderer, war criminal, coming to the United States, blatantly interfering in American internal affairs and politics, and charging Iran with doing so, on the basis of no evidence. There is no greater manipulator of American politics than Israel. The most egregious perpetrator of such manipulation is Israel and its unregistered lobby in AIPAC and other Zionist Organization of America and others who take direction from the Ministry of Strategic Affairs in Israel and implement it. This is exposing the level of manipulation of American politics directly. And useful idiots is an interesting phrase. Right. I think it applies to those people in the Congress who facilitated this show, which is designed mainly to keep Mr. Netanyahu in office, despite the fact that he's surrounded by fascists and a majority of Israelis want him out. The Zionists are very good at producing anti-Semitism. That's what they're producing. I mean, George Orwell would have cringed to hear this level of distortion. Yeah. This man has led Israel to the abyss. Let us remember that the purpose of this war, although Netanyahu says it should be prosecuted until Hamas is destroyed, is to destroy the Palestinian people in Gaza, to annihilate them, to depopulate it. And we have people running around the United States now selling beachfront property in Gaza to American Jews who might want to move to Israel. Who the hell assigned Gaza to Israel? Under what pretext is it that Palestinians there have no voice in their future? And here I would note that, oddly enough, at this very moment, that Netanyahu is discrediting the United States by appearing in the Congress, Beijing, the Chinese, have just convened 14 Palestinian factions and patched up the relationship between Fatah, which runs the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, and Hamas. And the Palestinians will insist on a voice, the decisive voice, in their own future. They will not accept something imposed by us, still less something imposed by Israel.
Yeah, and